It is 8:02 on a beautiful, beautiful morning. It is Wednesday, the 28th of May. How are you? Rise and shine. This is Coffee Talk. I'm Wesh 2 First Warning Meteorologist Eric Burris. It's beautiful outside. Let's look outside real quick. Tower Cam Network showing us a nice, quiet start over at Port Canaveral. Beautiful, beautiful morning out that way. First Warning Live Doppler radar tracking absolutely nothing. We are quiet over top of us. Temperatures out the door in the 70s. We look ahead and we find another opportunity for those showers and those thunder showers. 40% coverage 3 p.m., 50% coverage by 5 p.m. Yep, it's going to be another day where we get those thunderstorms popping on up around town. Oh, and high temperatures today are going to run around 93 or so degrees. 93 in Orlando, 92 in Claremont, 95 in Ocala. Yeah, it's going to be a blasted hot day. Yep. 89 in Titusville, 91 in New Smyrna Beach. So coastal communities are not going to be quite as bad, but those inland spots absolutely are going to be cooking today. Yeah. It's going to be another toasty day. It is what it is. Summertime pattern is here. Of course, students are more and more wrapping up their school years. Summer vacation right around the corner for so many. Muggy meter, though, does show a bit of a different story here. Okay. For the next couple of days, we notice we are sitting humid. But by Saturday, this changes. All right. We're going to be talking about a cold front moving into central Florida. That cold front is going to drop the humidity and drop the rain opportunity. Take a look at Central Florida's certified most accurate 7-day forecast. There's a spider there. Sorry, buddy. Couldn't have you hanging out on the laptop. All right. So there's the 7-day forecast. Notice a couple things here. Okay. First off, our temperatures are going to drop just a little bit as we get that cold front in here. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we see the change there, right? Then we also, of course, look and notice that the rain chances start to change around a little bit, right? So to that point, more sunshine. But then by Monday, Tuesday, the rain chances start building back up. Okay. As the rain chances start building back up, perhaps we kind of transition right back into the rainy season. And so what we end up noticing here is that essentially the rainy season wants to kick in, right? And even though we're going to get a little bit of a reset, it's going to kick back in. So it may be a couple of days that we drop the rain chance, but it's going to kick right back up. Okay. So yeah, I mean, 20%, 10%. Overall, it's a pause. So have we technically started the rainy season yet? Probably not. We're probably going to have to wait for that little bit of a drop off. And then as that starts to build back in, we'll get back there. Okay. Does that make sense? All right. So I wanted to talk about our local forecast, but I also wanted to discuss the tropics just a little bit. Okay. First off, let's just take a look and see what's doing out in the open Atlantic. Things are nice and quiet. There is nothing expected to develop over the next 7 days' time. On the social media, you may see Invest 90E. E for Eastern Pacific. That's an area of low pressure that's trying to develop. We do think that that will probably turn into something over in the Pacific Basin. Remember that the Pacific Basin starts early, okay? All right. So to that point, we would expect them to get things going, okay? That said, the Atlantic hurricane season is just several days away from starting, right? Just a couple of days away, June 1st. And already we're starting to watch at least an area of interest down in the Caribbean, okay? Models are starting to show some consistency here for some development. Now, if you followed Coffee Talk for a while, you know I love to show models. You also know that I love to share perspective and my long range forecasting. So let's do this. All right. Let's switch from this. Give me 2 seconds. We'll pop up some raw models and we're going to look at these puppies. All right. So what you're looking at right now is the raw GFS model. All right. Showing a sea of high pressure. Makes sense, right? That's looking pretty good. All right. Let's roll through time here together and just kind of see what it's showing. All right. We've got that front coming in this weekend, kind of stalling over us, near us, south of us, that sort of thing. June 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, right in here, starting to see something. All right. Now that's the current run of the GFS. It's important to note here that consistency breeds confidence when it comes to computer models. This is a sloppy wet low. This is nothing terribly organized. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So that's around the 12th of June. Now, we've been looking at these models for a while. The models have been showing a sloppy area of low pressure, and they've been from run to run going back and forth. Florida, Louisiana, Texas. That's the way models do it early in the cycle of Genesis. I mean, you're talking about a week out plus. Understand that models are terrible that far out. Okay. We're going to show them. We're going to discuss them. All right. So let's go back one run. That was the 6Z. Let's go to the 0Z. And it's developing an area of low pressure. It keeps kicking it further and further out. Like that's June the 13th. We know when the GFS kicks things further and further out, it's not terribly believable. This is the run before. This is what? This is the 18Z yesterday. I mean, that's showing something nasty. You know, do we think that something nasty is going to develop? Probably not. But it keeps kicking it out and it hasn't locked in. So the sheer fact that the model has, on a deterministic level, has not locked in, but it's trying to bubble something up, tells me everything I need to know. Don't really read too far into anything. All right. That's the GFS. Let's look at the GFS ensembles here. Okay. Show the 12Z from yesterday and get all the hypers in a frenzy. Oh, God. Well, I didn't look at it, but let's look at it. Let's look at the 12Z just for Matt. Oh, that's nasty. Yeah, we don't need to even worry about that. All right, so we'll go to current and let's look over at the ensembles. GFS ensemble plots. Boy, it's been a while since I've used the ensembles. I have to multi-member pressure. I have to remember where the heck I hit the buttons. Okay, it's been like 6 months since we've used this. So I'm like, wait, where are those buttons again? All right, GFS ensembles. When looking at tropics. Now, if you're new to the Coffee Talk thing, more specifically, if you're new to the Coffee Talk tropical mode, welcome. I could tell you we're going to have some big audiences this hurricane season, as we always do. So if you're here, this is an ensemble. So think of this, and I'm going to explain it like I do every time. Think of this as, where's that button? Panels, pressure. Okay. This is the GFS ensemble. Think of it as a way to run the GFS like, what is it, 50 times? 30 times. 30 times. All right. So let's roll through here and let's see where it's trying to deepen an area of low pressure. And you can see it's trying to deepen some areas of low pressure, but it's from all the way in the Bay of Campeche, drink, all the way to Florida, right? So what we're not seeing is any kind of a home run, coagulation. So what that's telling me is it's trying to develop an area of low pressure in a sloppy basis. Hold on one second, folks. Apologies. Just texting back and forth here. Okay. So anyway, that's the GFS ensemble. Not picking up on anything significant, right? Evelyn says 30 different scoops of ice cream. Yep, that's correct. That's correct. Can you believe it? We're here. I cannot flip and believe it. All right, let's go back. Let's come over here. Let's go to the euro. This is the deterministic model, but not precipitation. We want pressure. All right, so deterministic European. All right, we'll roll through here. Now remember, the euro on the 6Z and 18Z only goes out so far. So there's that front moving to central/South Florida and then just kind of hanging out, dying. And then that's what's going to restart our rainy season. Got it. Perfect. All right, that's as far out as the 6Z goes. We'll switch over to the 0Z, which goes further. And we're watching the Caribbean into the Gulf around the 10th. Yeah. And I got to be honest with you, just looking at this, if you follow our long range forecasting, you know that I prefer a more musical metaphor than variations on anything. Would you prefer if I used a fugue, a fortissimo, a coda? What would make you happy, Tad? I like what the European is doing. I think that, this is the part of the weather pattern we referred to as the slow Gulf low. And so let me dial that up here. Just to show you, we issue our long range hurricane forecast. And we do so. This year, we issued it at the end of February just because March fell on a weekend and we wanted to get it out. So, all right, there's the area of interest for the slow Gulf low, but pay attention to the dates and notice June 6th through the 13th is what we highlighted. So, yeah, that's the time frame. That's the location. And when we look at the models, I like what the European is doing. I think that the European probably has the best grasp on it. Let's go back. So that's the 0Z. Let's go to the 12Z euro. And I was trying to pick up on something, but it wasn't as deep. So interesting. All right. That said, let's run over and look at some of the European ensembles. And again, just like the GFS, the European ensembles, panels, pressure, we have 50 ensemble members for the European model. Yeah. All right, so let's do this. Let's take a look. Multi-member pressure. I have to remember where these buttons are. Okay, perfect. All right, so there we are. Rolling through. And of course, this version only goes out 144 hours. We have to go to this, the 00Z. And we're starting to see some member lows showing up from the Gulf into the Caribbean. So different timelines, different intensities. And they're kind of all over the place, right? You don't see anything significant, right? I forgot this button. This one makes it a little bit clearer to show, So it's, what we're looking at here is kind of the range of ensembles running from Texas all the way to the Florida Gulf Coast, right? That totally makes sense, right? And when we look at the overall idea for this part of the pattern, doesn't that perfectly make sense? So yeah, interesting. I have to dust off my tracking the tropics like brain matter. You know what I mean? We don't do this very often. Recently, it's been 6 months. Just like you and I were all forgetful. That's the way that it goes. All right, so let's do this. Let's go over, because why not? Canadian model. Normalized anomaly. Roll through. There's the front. Doesn't really go out that far. Do we have Canadian ensembles? Multi-member pressure. Why is minimum okay? So the Canadian is not as crazy about anything. A couple areas of low pressure, but nothing significant. So anyway, it's the first thing. It's the first thing that this season is interesting, and it fits a time frame. So June 6th through the 13th fits the time frame, right? And as we've said, just starting to see those hints, those indications, right? So we'll see how it plays out. No threats. I need to be very clear on this, though. Like, no significant threats. I've seen a lot of social media talk. Some people have been a little goofy, but it's been respectful thus far. It hasn't been the like Cat 5 heading to this neighborhood. So it's like, all right. We can navigate that. Right? Yeah. So there you go. Hurricane season's right around the corner. Models are starting to show some stuff. At the end of the day, Jeannie Rowan's asking hurricane-ish or tropical wave-ish. It doesn't look like anything significant. Honest to goodness, it does not look like anything significant. Okay. But it's also important to note it fits the long-range pattern, but there's no guarantees that it develops. It's just something to watch. At the end of the day, we have to understand forecasting the tropics is very, very difficult outside of 7 days. Our long range forecasting gives broad strokes. Okay. The actual forecast is that there's no tropical development expected over the next 7 days' time. All right. So for now, inside of the workable timeline for forecasting, there's nothing of concern. So don't be concerned. Okay. All right. Questions about the tropics, questions about our local forecast, questions about anything. How are you doing? Are we good? I'll pop up the 7-day forecast while we're discussing. Okay. Questions. Gail, good morning to you. Yeah, I mean, we've got 700 plus people this morning. So already the appetite for learning about the tropics has grown. So hi, welcome to all of you. We track the tropics, we track the local forecast. The good news is that there's nothing tropical to look at right now, right? That's the good news. Okay. All right. When is Wesh's hurricane special? It should be coming up here pretty soon. I've got like 1 or 2 more things I have to do. Yeah. All right. William's asking, will we have a hurricane on June 10th? No. Does not look like we're going to have a hurricane on June 10th. What I just spent the last 15 minutes talking about was models showing an area of interest. Still nothing in the forecast because it's outside of the forecast range. Showed how computer models have no consistency at this point. So no, we're not talking about that yet. Okay. All right. When is rain expected today? You know what? I didn't even get into that. Let's do that. Let's dial up Futurecast for today. All right. So here's Futurecast for today. Clouds are around 12, 1 o'clock. Line of storms bubbling along the west coast. Getting a little more widespread 2, 3 o'clock. 4, 5 o'clock. Showers, thunder showers around. Widely scattered showers and storms. and then just kind of fading. So it looks like it's going to be kind of the afternoon variety. 2, 3 o'clock things get going. 4 o'clock things are kind of widespread in nature. Nothing significant for us. When I say nothing significant, I mean afternoon storms in Florida can get strong. What I mean is it doesn't look out of the norm of afternoon storms. If anything, it looks like by 5 p.m. things may want to get invigorated, kind of metro over to the east. But just to be very forthcoming with you, every afternoon, and if you're new to town, and I have to remember, so many people are moving here every single day. Our radar, we work our radar to the different modes as is needed, and I'm just checking before I say this. And our radar, did I close it? Sugar, I closed it. Load. Oh my God, I don't know why it's not loading. Awesome, so I have to figure that out today. All right, well, our radar, we had to put it into kind of a more severe mode yesterday. That's going to continue, that kind of a thing. So, we're ready for summer. We're ready for these storms. Yeah. All right. Amy's asking, how much rain did we get yesterday? Wondering if we're catching up on our drought. Yeah, I mean, we got a bunch of rain. Let me do this. This is our 6-hour rainfall. Let me change it from 6 hours to 24 hours. Give me a minute. There we go. All right. So, you could see areas like Orlando off to the south and west over to Disney World. Some of these areas, and these are just quick, 3-4 inches of rain. So there were some areas that got a significant amount of rain yesterday. Absolutely. And the reality is we've got more of that rain coming our direction these next couple of days. Yeah. Then we're going to take a little bit of a pause Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we start to dial back up. Is your radar in weather-wise? Adam is asking. I don't think so. I don't know what weather-wise is, but no, I don't think it is. It's on the Wesh 2 mobile app. We've talked a lot about how you can get access to it, right? Yeah. My rain barrel is overflowing from famine to feast. Diane, just turn it over. You don't want standing water. That attracts mosquitoes. Right? Tara says the lightning in my area was insane last night. Yeah, I get that. We've had some good showers in O'Galley the last 2 days. We need it, Jan says. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Good times. All right. So that's kind of where we're at. Other questions, comments, concerns? We're definitely going to need to watch. I'll pop it back up. We're definitely going to need to watch. I'll pop up the GFS ensembles. We'll need to watch and see how this plays out. But essentially next week into the following week, there is some indication. This is the GFS. If we look at the European, I got to go to the next run. Right? You can see the Europeans wanting to bubble it up. So because there's some indication of development, we're gonna need to watch, right? Right. I want to know what those colors, what they mean. So what you're looking at here is all of the 50 ensemble members plugged on top of each other. So it kind of gives me an idea of what the model's trying to show for locations, position, intensity of areas of low pressure. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at there. Yeah, it's not trying to say that there's going to be 17 areas of low pressure out in the Gulf. Not at all. It's just trying to say, that there are areas of low pressure around. Okay, sound good? Let's see here. We had some strong winds yesterday in Palm Bay, for sure. Yeah. Enjoy your time in the air. Thank you, Jamie. Jay, want to go be partners in a Cirrus or a Saratoga or something? Look, man, I'm just barely affording a Mooney. Cirrus, that's Tony Manolfi money right there. As much as I would love, I've never even flown in a Cirrus. Take me up for a flight for one. Then we could go. Then we could talk, Jay. Oh man. When are you and Jeremy going to start doing tracking the tropics? Probably next week, honestly. Right? Probably next week. Yeah, I don't know anything about the WeatherWise app, just to be honest. I don't. Funnel clouds yesterday and a waterspout tornado the day before. Florida is Florida-ing. Yeah. Florida is Florida-ing. 100%. 100%. Yeah. Yep. Andrew is asking, is it too far out in time? Do you know when or if we will get an impact from anything in the Gulf? Look, I mean, I put out my long range forecast, but in terms of anything more specific, I'm just trying to do the things. Just trying to do the things. Yeah. I've been watching Coffee Talk for so long, even without sound, I can tell when Eric says, let's see here. Bruh, buh, buh. Yeah, yeah. Buh, 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 buh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got the body language expert. Right? All right. Questions about anything else? How we doing? Are you guys good? Do we have a good understanding? Yes. There's our first thing that the models are hinting at. The Hurricane Center has not picked it up. It's still too far out. Let's just watch trends, right? And I'm going to say this and repeat this over and over and over again during hurricane season. Let's just track the things. Let's just watch. That's all, right? Let's just watch. That's all. How do you keep cool in a 2-seat airplane? I haven't flown a 2-seat airplane in probably 10 years. But the 4-seat airplanes are hot as heck because it doesn't have air conditioning. So you just fly high or fast, or you just sweat your tuchus off. Oliver, is that ba from TV training to keep you from saying or No. Mike Lyons used to do the ba-ba-bas all the time. And I worked with Mike for a while, so yeah. Mike, that's what Mike would do. Oh God, I miss that guy sometimes. That putz. Yep. Sorry, Gulf Coast. Keep it away from the East Coast. I'll be at the beach then. Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. Anything else? We good? All right, listen. Thank you. You guys are a distraction. Repeat all of it. Yeah. All right, let's restart Coffee Talk. No, I'm going to hit the stop button. You guys can go back and watch it again. All right? All right. Listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Take care. Thank you for hanging out for Coffee Talk. We'll track the tropics. Listen, we're gonna have 6 months of tracking the tropics. We're gonna do the things, okay? We'll do it together. All right. Be good. Thank you all for hanging out. Take care.